What's up, profitable stylist? We have been having an amazing month. We've been talking about how to become a six-figure stylist. We've been talking about, Bernard's had a video series going on about the journey. What is it? The stylist journey, Bernard? What's your thing?
The stylist journey.
We've been getting a lot of comments. We've been getting a lot of feedback from all of y'all. The thing what we've been getting asked lately is to talk more in depth about how to become a six-figure stylist. And then the other thing we've been asked about lately is booth rental versus commission. Am I a salary stylist? Am I a studio rental, a booth renter? Do I own my own shop? Am I a commission stylist? How do I get started with all of that? And thank you all for your comments. As always, keep throwing them at us and we'll keep hitting them with that. And then Bernard, I know you want your coffee all the time.
Buy me a coffee. Oh.
And one more thing is we're trying something new with the overlay, guys. We've been getting requests for that as well for the presentation of the videos. So let us know what you guys think about this overlay. We'll be trying a couple of more out over the next coming weeks.
Booth rent versus commission salon.
Yeah.
Booth rental, commission salon. What's the right way to do it? I'm just going to say right now, I'm going to make people mad today. And I'm okay with that. Now, listen, there's no one right way to do it. Definitely no one right way. I hear myself echoing back through your microphone. I don't know if that's sounding like that on YouTube or not. But I want to share my bias right from the beginning. I'm trying really hard to see it from both sides just to see. But in my opinion, well, I say in my opinion, I like a commission salon. I own a commission salon, so I think that's why people think, oh, well, no wonder you like commission because you make more money that way and you don't want your stylists to make money as renters. And that's so far from the truth because I almost bought a building and tried to have a booth rental type situation because so many stylists want to rent, whether it's good or bad for them. But I want to just kind of cover when you talk about booth rental versus a salon suite or just booth rent, even in an open setting in a salon, what's some of the benefits? What's some of the good? What's some of the bad? Let's try to be open-minded and talk about it. But I just wanted to share my bias up front. Oh, there's also hourly. Nobody ever talks about that, hourly and salary.
What's the salary? Yeah.
Yeah, I think commission is the most powerful way to be a hairdresser. And I could go on and on about it, but I can see you want to talk a little bit. So
well, I've got myself a bunch of notes, so we'll just quick fire down the line here, right? Okay, fine. How to make six-figure income as a hairstylist? That's what we're all going on about. Okay, booth rent versus commission salon. So when you first start out, I guess this goes both ways. We got to talk about for a stylist first starting out, which way. What are the pros and cons of going for each way? And then also being an owner, what's the pros and cons of being an owner of each side of it? I think that's the most rounded way we can all give our opinion and give respect to each one. Fair?
I was reading an Aveda article early this morning, actually, just to get a little last minute input from some salon owners on what they think. And they had a good point. Too many schools are teaching stylists that they can make money in a rental situation as soon as they leave school. Go out there, rent, you'll make more money. But let's be honest about it. I mean, you don't have any clients when you first get out of school. Oh, okay, so you might have one or two or three. But you get right out of school, you have nothing. You have to pay more in bills and rent than you have bringing in. So to me, the mindset of a business owner is one side of the brain. The mindset of being a stylist is a creative brain, the other side. They don't usually go well together to start off with. Just forget everything else. Usually, a person that's business-minded is not going to enjoy the creative side and vice versa. So if you're a creative hairdresser, the last thing you want to be worrying about are the bills, the overhead, the receptions, the rescheduling, the retail, the back bar. Why? Why stress yourself out over all of that when you can make six figures as a stylist working commission for somebody else in the right situation? If the commission salon is doing what they're supposed to be doing and putting a certain amount of money towards marketing and all those other things I just mentioned, then they're not keeping half. How would you do half? They're not keeping half your money, because I think that's the lie, that in a commission salon, the owner keeps half your money or more in some places. It's not like that. You're not keeping half your money as a commissioned employee, commissioned stylist, whatever. You get half. Do you get to keep half? No, about 30-40% of it goes on bills, unless you're living on credit cards, and 60% of your 50% goes on bills, and you're actually upside down in your life. But technically, you should be living. Your bill should be about 40% of your income. 10% should be for fun. And on the other side, 40% should be covering all the expenses. And maybe the owner gets to keep about 10%. Maybe. That's just a big, broad plan. But go ahead before I...
No, it's really interesting how there's been the shift in the mentality pushing students to become stylists. Before, it used to be... When you first graduate, so this is what they used to tell us. Before you go work in a commission salon, go to a salary salon. Go to I don't know what's the nice way how to say it, but basically go to
a lower end chain salon.
Yeah, thank you. I was struggling really hard. Yeah, so go to a lower end chain. Yeah, go to a chain salon. That's the nicest way to say it. Go to a chain salon.
End, but most chain salons are lower end.
Right. You get guaranteed salary, so it doesn't matter how long you're there and if you got clients or if you don't got clients. When you do get a client, you get to, in essence, practice and screw up and make your mistakes, and then you're good enough. Then you get to go to a real commission salon, and now you're good enough to get accepted in there, and they'll train you and they'll get you better. And here's the misconception. Once you're in a commission salon, in essence, you are your own business within a business. You know?
Aren't you always? Because, I mean, we're talking about commission versus salary, booth rent versus salary. But the bottom line, as a hairdresser, if you're any good at all, if you're going to make any money at all, if you're going to have any passion and care at all, you are responsible for doing a good job so that person wants to come back. So you're kind of building your own business no matter how you get paid. I think the only slap in the face to our industry are those, not all chain salons, are those chain salons that pay hourly, and that's it. And you just run through lots of men's cuts or men's and kids cuts. You notice most moms and women don't go to those chain salons because they care a little more about their hair. It's a little easier to just chop a man's short haircut real quick and just run them through and market these discounts or give away a lot of, I don't know, all the policemen or all the firemen in town can come, because they don't expect the hairdresser to develop a relationship and keep that client. They don't even want the client to go to the same hairdresser more than once or twice. And to me, that's just wrong.
It's a heavy turnover, yeah.
Yeah, heavy turnover. Every other situation, you are building your own business, no matter what, as far as relationship. Now, when you move to that next step, I'd like to cover a couple of things, real challenges I've seen. It doesn't have to be this way. This is just usually what happens in a rental situation, because I've hired stylists that are commissioned from rental salons, from other commission salons. I've seen it go both ways and then back to rental. And what usually happens, this is strictly my opinion and experience, is that a hairdresser leaves me because they're, unhappy about something. They think they're going to go make more money in a rental situation. And a lot of times they do in the short term. But really quickly what happens is usually a rental salon or situation is not in a prime location, because they feel like they don't have to be, because people are bringing the clientele in, and that's how they lower the rent. It's not in a great location. Okay, so you save money in your rent because you go to a lower location. But then I just talked to two stylists a few weeks ago, and they both said the same thing. That is one of my pet peeves about this. They said, we don't even go in unless we have clients, because they rent. So they know their book already from the day before. They see their first clients at 11. They don't go in at 9. They go in at 11. But in a commission or even the hourly salary salons, A client might walk in at 9 or 10 in the morning because the owner is marketing the hours. We start here, we end here. We have hairdressers there, and we do take walk-ins. So that's one of the small ways that you gain a new client here and there, is being there. But if you got a clients from 11 to 1 and then 3 to 5, and you decide from 1 to 3, I'm going to go shopping because I have no clients, you don't get the walk-ins. So that's one of the opportunities or places you don't have an opportunity to grow. So the other things are, who schedules your appointments, who answers the phone, who does your marketing, who buys your retail, who stocks it, who does the reminder calls, who reschedules when they don't show up. Those are all things you have to do. And you might want to do it. You may like doing it. And I'm not saying you shouldn't go rent, but if you want to do all of that and all the creative side of it, go for it. It's just rare that it is successful for hairdressers in a rental situation. Whew, boy, I got all of that out. And I think that was one sentence, huh?
That was the longest run-on breath. You could be a deep sea diver holding your breath that long.
Where I was going to make people mad, and I am not trying to make people mad. I'm just trying to share my passion.
I don't think
we should be able to, right? Without arguing in this world.
No, absolutely. Because let's break this down. There's a lot there, but let's really break this down. We kind of touched on it a little bit last week about how to become that 6-figure income stylist, right? It's right. Being there is half the battle. And too many times when we see a gap in our book, yeah, okay, fine. Having a gap in our book sucks. It's really not fun sitting around for an hour because you're 12 o'clock canceled. Now you're from 11:30 waiting till 1:15 for your next appointment. So we feel like we can multitask. We can go do an errand. We can go do something else. We can go take a nap or something, But you don't know what's going to happen minute to minute. So somebody could walk in and you just lost that potential business. And that was the other thing we were talking about as far as being a profitable stylist is you got to be there. You always need new business. You always need new clients. You need to expand. You got to have a business expansion plan, right? The only way we can do that is by being there to get those new clients when they walk in. Or when somebody calls last minute and they say, same thing like us. You don't know if your client had a cancellation in their book. And all of a sudden they're like, well, hey, maybe I can come in today. I haven't called and made my appointment in a month. So being there is huge. Now, when you are a commissioned stylist, the mentality is that we work for somebody. We don't work for ourselves. That's the mentality. The reality is you're doing both. You're working for yourself inside of somebody else's space. No different than when you're a booth rental, studio renter, however you want to refer to it as, you are still working for yourself inside of somebody else's space. The biggest difference is, who do you answer to? Do you answer to yourself or do you answer to an owner, a boss, right? So the owner in a commission salon has your best interest at heart equally as much as they have the business's best interest at heart. And they know you got to be there. If you are there, business will happen. You will produce. If you are not there, you cannot produce. The convenience of a commission salon is that you have a staff supporting you. You have a foundation, an infrastructure in place for you. When you are a booth renter, you have the responsibility of doing all of that by yourself. So the thing is, here's, I was just about to go into this, and here's this great question. When would I know to transition from going from a commission salon to go out on my own to a booth rental? Is there a good time frame? And Bernard... Never.
Never. I mean,
hold on.
Let me talk about teamwork for just a minute. And I know booth rental situations are sometimes in open environments and the clients don't even know. It looks like a normal salon, but people are renting booths. And too often I see that happen because of a lazy owner. An owner, this is another time I'm going to piss some people off, but an owner just doesn't want to. They tell me in my classes, I say, why are you a booth rental salon? They're like, I just don't want to deal with the headaches. I don't want to have to do this. I don't want to have to do that. They can do it themselves. And then some business owners, like, I want to name names, are such great owners. And he's got a booth rental salon. He's going to know who I'm talking about. And I ask him all the time why he brings me in to teach and motivate his staff and his what do you call them? His 1099s, his hairdressers. He brings me in and many others. He markets, he advertises, he got a great website. I said, why are you booth rental? He goes, I just don't want to deal with the headaches. I said, you already are. You're doing everything it takes. You're babying those hairdressers. You're helping them build their business. You're telling them what they should and shouldn't do. You're having staff meetings. You might as well be getting paid a little bit better through commission because you're doing all the stuff. And then the other side of it is people don't want to do anything, so they booth rent. And then you lose the teamwork. Now, you really lose the teamwork when you're in these individual spaces. And I mean, yes, you can keep it cleaner and you can alleviate some of the challenges of booth rental because supposedly you're not supposed to be involved in their everyday stuff. So dress code goes out the window. You got somebody coming in, look like they've been partying all night. You got somebody that looks like they should be at a camp out with cut off shorts and a tank top on. And then you got somebody dressed in a suit who really looks like they're serious about work. And it's this hodge. Just looks a mess in there. So if you got these individual rooms, then you can have your individuality. You can decorate your room as great or as terrible in somebody else's opinion as you want. And it does kind of separate it, but it also pulls away from that teamwork. So just to get back to that question, yeah, I guess if you're that rare hairdresser that can just pull in clients from anywhere you go, because I've had those guys that go to the bank and they talk so loud about hair to that one person, 2 or 3 other bank tellers come over and go, oh my God, wait, what are you talking about, hair? And they come over, or in the grocery store, and they just gain 2 or 3 clients a week because they're loud and just there's other charismatic and just real flamboyant. That is the kind of person that probably could then, if they're making enough money after a few years, go into a rental situation and be happy. But that kind of person usually likes working around other people, so then sometimes they don't want to do it. But when you are working commission and you're bringing in people and you're doing that good, I think the better situation is to talk with the owners of the salon about buying in and being a part of the whole thing. Be a part owner, and then be the person who is part of the marketing, using the assistants to build their business and be a part of owning the salon and building it. If you're that good at drawing people in, building business, teaching other hairdressers, be a part of the growth. Because to me, if you're going to go into a rental situation, it seems so selfish to me. It seems like you just want to be you by yourself. And I get it. Some people do. Some people are loners, hate most other people. They fake it for a few clients all day, every day. And that's fine. But if you're that kind of person that likes being around people, really good at building business, really good at all that stuff, I think a commission environment makes sense all the way to the end. Just be a part owner in it, or leave that commission salon, go to a different commission salon where you can be a part owner. Mm-hmm. But the ultimate thing to me is if you go from commission to rent, you're owning your own business anyway. And if you're going to deal with all those headaches, you might as well go rent a little bigger space, hire a few more hairdressers, and open a commission salon. That's how I feel about it. If you're going from commission to rent, open your own salon.
It's those are all great points. Let's break that.
Just kidding. Just kidding. I think I've said it all.
No, those are all great points. Let's break it down a little bit more. So, as far as if you're ultimately going to decide to transition to do this, right? The other half of that question there, when would be the good time frame to do there? Is there a good time frame? I don't necessarily know if there's ever a good time frame to do much of anything other than you got to feel confident enough in yourself, in your skill set, in your ability, and in your business-minded sense as well, too. There's the creative aspect of our industry of what we do, and then there's the business side of our industry of what we do. Too many hairdressers got this thing in their head, I'm an artist, I'm not a salesman. I say to you, shut up, okay? It's such a loaded, full of crap thing to say. We sell every moment.
Every day.
every day, okay? You're selling your artistic ability. The fact that you're announcing that you are an artist, not a salesman, is right there your sales pitch about being an artist. So you've just contradicted. Anyways, the point is this. You could be a salary. Okay, you can go into some commission salons, start you off on a salary plus a commission percentage. Okay, what you are getting for that, the support that you are getting for that, is a guaranteed draw income plus, and every salon does it a little different, but if you hit your certain tiers, then you get X amount of percentage commission, blah, blah, blah. Okay, fine. With that comes the cost of doing business and the overhead. What does that mean? You're getting your advertising. You're getting your prime location space. You're getting somebody answering the phone. You're getting, in most times, an assistant to help you shampoo, right? You're getting somebody to help clean. You're not having the full responsibilities of all of that. You have the owner of the salon handling accounting for you, in essence, if you will, your payroll taxes, the rent, the electricity, all the blah, blah, blah. Something breaks, something goes wrong, something needs to be upgraded, something needs to be redecorated. All of those things that's all coming out of your cut, right? That's the cost of doing business a lot of people don't think about. Now, in the beginning, that's great, especially if you're not busy. Now you start getting busy. You have a solid booked clientele, and now you're like, well, I need to make more money. I want to become that 6-figure, right? And I've hit my cap. I've hit my limit. I want a higher commission cut. Therefore, I will automatically make more money. And you go to the owner, and the owner says, "I'm not giving you more percent. Raise your prices." And then all of a sudden you're like, "Oh, I'm not raising my prices. I'll lose clients." And we talked about that last week about the road to becoming a 6-figure income stylist, right? We talked about that. So all of a sudden now you're upset because you don't want to raise your prices. You're also frustrated because you're not getting more commission. And now you've hit that cap, you've hit that limit, and you're ready to go up to the next tier, the next level. This is where booth renting becomes an option, right? And you're like, well, I'm busy. I have all my clientele. They all love me. My clients love me. I'm friends with all of my clients. They're all going to follow me. Until you go out on your own. Now, all of a sudden, you're like, holy crap, with all these bills. I got rent, I got paperwork, I got payroll, I got this, insurance. I got to supply my own crap all day. I can't be mixing 3 ounces to do a root touch-up, anymore. I actually have to count my grams and buy a scale.
What?
It's all this insane. All of a sudden, now you're all pissed off about waste. And so the whole thing is, nobody followed you, or only half the people followed you, or 25% of the clientele followed you. What the hell happened? I thought everybody loved you. I thought they were your friends. The reality is the clients don't give a crap about you. They only give a crap about the convenience of coming in, getting their hair done. You're doing a good job. They like the ambiance and the atmosphere, and they appreciate the conversation while they're there.
Right.
Only the loyal ones are the ones that truly, because you established yourself as a business. Within the business, you ran your chair like a boss. Then those are the ones that follow you. Now here's the problem. The owner of the salon always is pushing to keep you motivated. Like the person you was mentioning, they're keeping you motivated. They're bringing in outside educators. They're doing events. You got that camaraderie and that team building stuff, right? When you're on your own, you are responsible 100% for continuing to keep yourself motivated to do all of that. And it's hard, especially when some days you got a light book, when you got a busy book, you're not thinking about education and motivation and blah, blah, blah. You're like, damn, I got to hustle. I'm making money today. But then when you're on a light day, you're like, oh, good, because yesterday sucked, man. I was so busy. I get to relax a little bit today. What you're not realizing is subconsciously you're lowering yourself down. And then you start getting complacent. And that's the worst place to be in. I've seen too many times a stylist that was busy in the salon goes out on their own. They're rocking for 3 months, 4 months. They're rocking. And then all of a sudden within 6 months, within the first 6 months, the first 3-4 months, they're doing great. And then all of a sudden, the last 2 months of that first 6 months, All of a sudden, half their clientele has disappeared. What the hell happened? It's the inconvenience of being in a small space. They don't like the atmosphere. You know, all of a sudden they can't get a hold of you so quick because you are responsible for answering the phone every 3 seconds to run your own book. Right. You're trying to do one of these. The client sitting in your chair is like, hey, I'm here now. Pay attention to me. You're always on your phone, you know, and there's a lot of other things that go into place. And then all of a sudden you're like, well, I'm only going to work 4 days a week. I ain't going to work 6 days a week anymore. I'm only going to work 5 hours a day, 4 days a week, instead of 40 hours a week, you know, instead of 8, 9, 10 hours a day.
You still got to pay that whole week of rent.
But you still pay, right. You're still paying the whole week of rent.
So many. You know, one of the greatest points, I think we're probably going to end this soon, but one of the greatest points I think I just heard you say, I said they do really good at first too, and they go down, and you brought up a few more good points. One is nobody's helping you keep track of your goals or your growth, and you've got no competition. I mean, not like bad competition, nothing even to compare yourself to. You don't even realize that you're on a slow decline. You think, I'm still covering my bills. I'm still covering the rent. I'm still have enough money to pay the extra bills at home. I'm good. But if you had that hairdresser working next to you that's still growing, it inspires you to grow a little. Then they grow a little, and it makes it possible. But when you're by yourself growing, it's difficult to have some accountability, some measure. No, you don't have anything to measure against. I think we've said it all before we piss too many people off.
There's one more thing I got to bring up. There's one more thing I got to bring up because this is a complaint from booth renters directly. So I have been teaching classes Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Sundays and Tuesdays, I've also been teaching classes, but those have been customized classes. So Mondays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, I have set programs. Sundays and Tuesdays, I've been doing customized programs based on the needs of the stylist or the owners. Okay? And so I've been teaching 5 days a week for the past 2 months. And the common thing I keep hearing over and over and over is from both sides, the booth rental and the commission stylist and the owners themselves as well, is I need more growth, I need more help, I need more growth, I need more help, right? Everybody keeps saying, how do I find education? So a booth renter all of a sudden is realizing they need to hire an assistant to help them so they can increase their level higher, so they can do more business. All right. And then they're realizing that they need more education, they need more support, but you are one individual person. How much can you purchase in a month? Can you purchase $300 of and I'm not talking about bills anymore. Now I'm just talking about supplies from your distributors. Can you purchase $300 a month, $500 a month, $1,000 a month? Distributors only value the account. They only look at you as an account, not as an individual. And if you're a less than $1,000 purchaser a month, you're not going to get any perks or fringe benefits or anything like that. They're not going to be as willing. You got to fight for that support, right? And you got to fight for that education. If you're purchasing more than $1,000 a month, now the distributor is like, oh yeah, we'll send somebody to you, or we'll comp you. You can come on in, you know, and we'll work around your convenience. Say again?
And you've got the power. You've got the power of the group of stylists all using the same product, buying more from the vendor. So then they send free education in because you're spending money with them. That's a good point.
In a commission environment, yeah. So as a booth renter, you got to fight for that. That responsibility also falls on you. You got to fight for
your education. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
So I think we brought up a lot of good points. I think we should just end it there.
No, that's fine. Look, guys. This is all based on all of your comments, you know, all of these things. We want to go back to talking about hair extensions, but we've been getting sidetracked, which, hey, we greatly appreciate it so much, okay?
Yeah,
so
please, buy me coffee, comment. What else are they supposed to do? Subscribe. Push all the buttons and like us. Bye.
Thank you, guys. Talk to y'all next time.